Today we're taking a look at the Utah Jazz vs Los Angeles Clippers Ramblers match, which is happening on Saturday, June 12, 2021, and giving you my betting tips and predictions in general on this game. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours and hours of your time searching the internet for some fake betting predictions and losing your money because of it. Join High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advices instantly. During the latter part of the regular season, Utah played without high scorer Donovan Mitchell, who was out with a high ankle sprain, but during the postseason Mitchell has been the key to Utah's success. Mitchell scored 45 points in Game 1 versus the Clippers and added 37 in Game 2. During the postseason, Mitchell is scoring an average of 31.8 points per game, while the second leading scorer is Jordan Clarkson with an average of 18.5 points per game. Mike Conley has yet to appear in the series due to a hamstring issue and leads Utah in assists during the postseason with an average of 8.6 per game. In Conley's absence, Mitchell has picked up the slack and is averaging 5.6 assists per game. Unfortunately, history doesn't favor the Clippers, as no team has overcome multiple 0-2 deficits in the same postseason. If there's any team who is capable, it's a team with a 2-time NBA Finals MVP in Kawhi Leonard, along with Tyronn Lue, who coached the 2016 Cleveland Cavaliers when they came back from a 3-1 deficit against the 73-9 Golden State Warriors. Nonetheless, oddsmakers have installed the Clippers as 4.5-point home favorites with a total of 223.5 against the Jazz in Game 3 as they look to fight their way back into this series. As we've seen throughout the playoffs the past few seasons, there is a tax for backing the Clippers in the first quarter and first half, as teams who are down 0-2 have historically responded favorably to the desperation of facing elimination. That said, it's not alarming to see the Clippers laying 4.5 points for the full game while laying 2.5 points for the first quarter and 4 points for the first half. Utah has been strong on the boards as the Jazz are averaging 45.7 rebounds per game with 35.5 on the defensive end and 10.2 per game off the offensive glass. Rudy Gobert is Utah's leading rebounder with an average of 12.8 boards per contest. The Los Angeles Clippers have two of the NBA's best players in Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, but the pair needs to step up even more against Utah if the Clippers hope to reach the conference finals. Leonard is averaging 29.9 points per game to lead the Clippers in scoring during the postseason. But in 2 games versus Utah, Kawhi has scored 23 and 21. Paul George is the second leading scorer for the Clippers with an average of 23.6 points per game. George is also the assist leader for the Clippers with an average of 5.3 dishes per contest. Reggie Jackson has been a big help during the postseason and is scoring an average of 16.2 points per game. Although he doesn't get the press of the Clippers' Kawhi Leonard, the Utah Jazz have an emerging superstar talent in Donovan Mitchell, and he's arguably been the best player in this series. Mitchell is essentially the second coming of Dwayne Wade, except he is just as lethal shooting from the perimeter as he is slashing and driving to the paint. Throughout this series he's averaging 41 points while shooting 52.5% from the field and 44.4% from behind the arc, while dishing 4.5 assists and grabbing 3 rebounds. He's also one of the best playoff performers of all time, averaging 28.4 points per game in 29 career playoff games, which is only eclipsed by Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, Kevin Durant, Jerry West and LeBron James. Given the way Mitchell has been playing, the Jazz haven't skipped a beat, even with the absence of all-star point guard Mike Conley, who has been out with a right hamstring strain. Even as the Jazz missed 20 consecutive shots in Game 1 or struggled offensively with the zone that Tyronn Lue and the Clippers threw at them in Game 2, the Jazz responded favorably to every card they've been dealt. With Mitchell tweaking his ankle and suffering from fatigue down the stretch of Game 2, it didn't matter. This team has enough talent to overwhelm the many of the league's best teams. The current Defensive Player of the Year in Rudy Gobert has made his presence felt on both ends of the floor, scoring 13 points and grabbing 20 rebounds while also providing rim protection. Given his size and physicality, the Clippers haven't found an optimal solution for who to play at center, and the small ball units simply haven't created enough of an advantage for the Clippers. Joe Ingles scored 19 points on 7 of 10 shooting, and Royce O'Neal also scored double digits, even with him being one of the primary defenders of Leonard in this series. My first betting advice for that game is to pick Los Angeles Clippers minus 4.5. The Utah Jazz are the top-seeded team in the Western Conference, and so far they have looked it. They made quick work of the Grizzlies in round 1, as expected, and so far against the 4th-seeded Clippers, they have looked great. The Jazz took a 2-0 series lead on Thursday, beating the Clippers 117-111. The Jazz shot 55% against one of the better defensive teams in the league. The Utah Jazz are averaging 120.9 points on 48.4% shooting and allowing 113.6 points on 46.3% shooting. Donovan Mitchell is averaging 32.7 points and 5.3 assists, while Jordan Clarkson is averaging 19.3 points and 1.4 assists. Bojan Bogdanovic is the third double-digit scorer, and Mike Conley is dishing 8.6 assists. The Utah Jazz are shooting 40.9% from beyond the arc and 81.5% from the free throw line. The Utah Jazz are allowing 34.3% shooting from deep and are grabbing 44.3 rebounds per game. The Jazz were on fire from three-point range, making 51% from deep, draining 20 of 39 from long range. Donovan Mitchell led the Jazz with 35 points, while Jordan Clarkson added 27 points each, draining 6 threes. Joe Ingles had 19 points while Bojan Bogdanovic had 16 points. Rudy Gobert added 13 points and 20 rebounds. The Jazz did this without Mike Conley, who is questionable for Saturday's game. The LA Clippers have been here before. They are down 2-0, as they were against the Mavericks in the first round. But they lost the first 2 games in the Mavs series at home. Against the Jazz they lost the first 2 in Utah. But the Jazz are not the Mavericks. The Jazz have been the best team in the NBA all season, and beating them anywhere won't be easy. The Los Angeles Clippers are averaging 110.9 points on 47.8% shooting and allowing 107.9 points on 45.9% shooting. Kawhi Leonard is averaging 29.9 points and 7.3 rebounds, while Paul George is averaging 23.6 points and 9.2 rebounds. Reggie Jackson is the third double-digit scorer, and Marcus Morris Sr. is grabbing 4.6 rebounds. The Los Angeles Clippers are shooting 37.3% from beyond the arc and 84.8% from the free throw line. The Los Angeles Clippers are allowing 39.5% shooting from deep and are grabbing 41.4 rebounds per game. The Clippers lost Game 2 117-111. Reggie Jackson continues to play well as he led the Clippers with 29 points. Paul George added 27 points while Kawhi Leonard poured in 21 points. After that, the Clippers got nothing. This has been the problem all year, no bench scoring. Serge Ibaka remains on the injured list and he is badly missed and a major disappointment. My second betting advice for that game is to pick under 223.5. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.